out later. It will be there. So, just about an hour ago, I got an updated email on the calendar from Lauren that I forwarded to all of you, about 4:05, maybe about 5. I don't know whether or not you have a chance to see that. The first meeting got pushed forward so that it'll be, the first joint meeting will now be November 6th. And then the other one's scheduled for the 13th and 20th. So I did send that out. I don't know whether you've seen those emails yet, but I saw it just about quarter.
I don't think I ever saw the schedule.
Okay, that I will share those. Those just got, those are, I just printed those out again. I saw the email from Lauren.
Does everybody have copies of these?
I forwarded this to
No,
everyone.
I didn't have time to open the
Okay.
attachments.
Okay, that's fine. Is the copy room open?
Yeah.
Someone want to go and make copies? How many people want paper copies of these?
Did you send out the minutes?
I don't remember at this point whether they did. Yes.
They need to be sent out ahead of time.
Okay.
So you can read them.
All right.
Probably want to make copies of those.
Perfect.
And it's open to you on the 21st.
Well, that's it.
Because I
Let me just mention, I got the email at 4:14. We decided to change the schedule. I don't know who we is. All right? I was not consulted. None of you were consulted. So who the we is beyond me. Maybe it's a royal we, like, I'm not happy.
I was letting you slide my mind.
We, I have a mouse in my pocket. We, I don't know.
That is what I appreciate it.
Yeah, the information that I received. Bob, did you want to run these prints as long as you're over there?
What do you want, 10?
Well, no, it's just,
I got audience people. We got 6,
Yeah.
there's 2, there's 3. There's 9.
Okay, so the sliding back.
how are they gonna?
They stay on schedule, it's just that one meeting, everything else stays the same.
And it's an unfair question, but I'd be interested.
I didn't get his, I wondered why we're having a meeting tonight because they aren't ready, you know. I do know that, the solid waste is going to spike. Selectmen need to consider increasing the fees.
We talked about that last year too.
Yeah, and the sticker fee, yeah, it's just, it's way too low. I know that money does go into a fund, but still, it can be used.
No matter how little or much it rises. Like, didn't we go 20 to 30 last time, was it? 25 to 35? And it was,
Went 30, yeah, to $30, which is, it should be 50, a buck a week. You know,
well, it is felt as a very directly impactful, but then when you break it out, it is a user.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's, if you use it every week, it's under $1.
yeah,
If you have private, like I do, I'm $400 a year. So
It's still a lot more.
it's like $50 a week.
It is a very more than reasonable amount now, and was maybe 4 years ago was the last time we visited that and bumped. It's been since I've been on here, so it can't be more than 6.
I mean, even at that time, didn't you mention some of the towns that you knew that were like 75 and higher for their fees?
And then you have to buy bags from them. It's like,
So I think that even if we did go to 50, it's still a very reasonable fee for what we get.
and what I had suggested, years ago was do the increase and the first year to soften it,
Mm.
give them a punch card. You know, give a $10 punch card. Not everybody uses them. They're good forever, but at least it's like,
No, you're right, you're talking graduation to it, and that has no,
Yeah,
yeah, it's, you know, it's, I know, I know, Richard Miller thinks that we shouldn't charge anything. I'm going, not everybody in town uses it. Point.
It's one of those, the cost is borne by those who use it. That's a reasonable thing. Thank you for running the trends.
but even the, on the punch card, I don't know if that's fee schedule one time, it's
They're
really
ridiculous.
inexpensive to
They
get rid of some major stuff.
Yeah, and I talked to Mike specifically about mattresses because, I saw a thing on TV about, you know, they'll pick up your mattresses and I think it's $69. And of course, that's pickup, but also I know that they're, to take them to the NADNOC, which people can use the NADNOC. I mean, they can go and, just like a doctor, you'll just pay. And, that's where all our stuff goes. And it's cheap. Our electronics.
What you got? Oh, yes.
Nice job.
No soup.
No, so for me,
I was gonna say, I wrote them, although I don't know what they said, it's been so long ago.
Just put in your, oh, it's over there.
Just a reminder, minutes, topics and minutes need to go to the town clerk.
Yeah, I thought we got those two, just after our last meeting. But the draft copy waited after the last meeting.
I didn't do it. Thank you.
thank you.
The draft minutes for September 19th was sent on September 23rd
Okay.
to the clerk. Thank you, Bob. And also a copy to the executive, so I sent it to both. But, okay. So please.
all right, Phil, everybody who's here has.
Great. Go to the-
Oh, yeah, you can see where you're assigned. Let's see. Missing members, we'll have library and, the land use board. So who wasn't here? You were. And, Casey wasn't, so since you're here now, you can probably make a choice.
Whatever.
You can do the library, okay.
Well done.
And if you want fire, we can switch off. Fire. If you want to think about that, we can make sure that somebody knows. We didn't feel it was right to put Casey in that position.
Yeah. So that leaves, we need to tell Casey who needs to do the land use boards, which actually is a pretty easy one. I know,
Doing zoning and planning.
Concom, zoning and planning,
Who's doing those?
Casey.
Oh, okay.
That's a 5-minute job, 5 minutes each.
Did meet with the police chief to go through the preliminary plans that were there and guys, reaffirming intent for expanding to a 10th officer, wants to have more people on the road concurrently. So she expects to have more vehicles on the road concurrently, so she's not cutting down her ask for the gasoline budget, even though the gas is a little lower than what it was a year ago.
It's not gonna stay.
She wants to hold the number and not decrease it because she expects to have more vehicles on the road. She's got some other suggestions. There was an item that she wants to spend like $5,000 on, that's to destroy certain types of evidence that currently twice a year, 2 officers get paid overtime to go up to Concord, have it destroyed at the facility in Concord, and then return. So we've got 4 hours, a couple officers, a couple times a year. It'll take a while for that $5,000 to come back, but it's still a good idea to invest the $5,000 and not send officers to Concord a few times, because it has to be pairs. It's a few hours up and waiting and then return. So that's one of the items that is there. One of them is also, they have a problem with the rotation with the tasers. She wants to increase the taser count by 2, because one is anticipation for the new officer coming on, and the other is because as they're getting their tasers serviced, they are short. So there are times where an officer is without a taser. And this is something that we should not be in that position when the officers are out. I don't know why the contract doesn't provide replacement unit while they're repairing one under warranty. It just doesn't come with a replacement unit, so that we're not down.
So tasers are, have been put on the CIP list.
And let's face it, knowing us, doesn't that sound like something we would have? Would we be in a position where, if just like the cars, when you have a car, you try to make sure there's still another vehicle. One, we thought we would have tried to get a taser ahead when we did the larger car. And if we didn't, and didn't ask it, shame on us.
So the other thing is, there's a couple items. One is she also wants to trade in the current pistols that they use.
That's also on the CIP list.
Okay. So for those that aren't aware, she wants to switch over to a 9mm pistol instead of a 40 caliber pistol, because 9mm ammunition has become ubiquitous and inexpensive again, like what it used to be years ago. So she figures that the lower cost for the ammunition will offset the cost of acquiring the new equipment. Still going to be Glocks, just a different model Glock than what they use now. But the ammunition will be less, and of course, the most expensive ammo that they have is the training ammo that they have. When it comes to training, we're expecting to lose 1, if not 2 officers in the coming year, is what she's told us. So that means we're going to have the training expenses and everything else as we go to hire replacements for the officers who may leave.
So we go back to the,
Please choose
the,
topic.
well, thank you.
Which item? Which item?
If we can go back to the 9mm instead,
Yes.
where were we on the time rotation of the units we have now?
Guns don't wear
As many things like we do at home, I expect we're probably over where we would have liked the sunset to begin with.
Guns don't wear.
Absolutely.
Well,
Look, Glocks take a long time to do it when
Yeah.
they're well maintained. Glocks are easier to maintain.
I don't know, my brother was a police officer, he had one. in his entire 20 years.
He never fired it probably.
No, he didn't, other than training, even during the Watts riot.
Smith and Wesson 536.
I don't know what he
Most
had.
likely.
I don't
So,
know what he had
so,
for
so to
surgeons.
complete the
But the items that she has now are carrying trade-in value. So she's going to get some cost recouped from that. We already work with Locke regularly. Locke has people here at the police station regularly. So it's just changing one model for another.
and now tying this back to what we just said about the tasers. Okay. If we're going to have 10 officers, how many units do we actually?
12,
What, tasers?
that's what she's asked for.
You don't need more than you have officers.
That's what, oh, you missed the conversation that if they go in on warranty work, they're down one.
Yeah.
And the changeover of officers plus the part-time officer,
But you never have 10 officers on the road.
but they each have their own taser.
Dan's been through that with us and Rachel has
Hmm?
They're
also.
registered.
Well, no,
You
it's
need
just
to,
they're,
they're
yeah,
they're assigned to each officer individually, is how they're done.
yeah.
So I think it's pretty safe. We're going to, we will revisit that with the chief, and I have a feeling the board of selectmen may revisit it based on a wind I felt go by. So,
Yeah, no, I know it's on the CIP, I heard CIP request list.
Okay.
These tasers time off too.
Well, that's why the contract's important.
Contracts are ridiculous. Tasers,
I know, but
ridiculous.
well, they have you, and there are only so many options, I'm sure.
There aren't that many providers, so that's where that's at. So I wanted to share that information that I had about the officers changing out, some leaving, so we'll be maintaining the training expense and things like that. So the other thing is that the animal control category is being phased out. The few remaining things that were in there that the police department will still be doing will be the individual line items within the regular police operating budget now. Because we still have the animal surrender fees and things like that that we pay. But
So the animal control officer
has
salary.
officially retired and is gone.
Not replacing it, so that'll be a salary reduction.
Not by a ton, but yes.
there's, if we maintain the impound, that we have, somebody has to feed them. That thing needs to be torn down. It's disgusting, but it was built by volunteers and maybe it's an early application, but maybe, that could be done again properly so that it can be hosed out. Have you ever been in it?
No.
Oh, you don't want to.
Doesn't sound like a day.
It's not on the Ringe travel guide, so I missed that stop.
It's, town's been very lucky, people volunteer food.
Yeah.
So, it's limited expense, it's just somebody has.
Maybe limited expense, the question is it the exposure?
Yeah, and you need to tend it. Well, the other problem is having to drive them to Swansea. And the selectmen would have to change their policy of holding animals for 2 days. So, it's like,
Nothing happens there.
no,
Most of the animals, well, they used to be returned within a day or so. It's Larry used to know whose dog was whose.
well, and with the, with Facebook, I mean, there's so much exposure. If somebody loses a pet, that's the first place they go is for the,
I mean, we saw the
Lost it.
goat, we saw the goat within about a half an hour after the police picked the goat up. Hey, does anybody know whose goat this is? Or who's wandering around? I mean, it didn't take long to go back to his rightful home very quickly. So at least didn't have to spend too much time with the girl. So it's that. Other things that she discussed, there were some minor things. The assistant that works there in the office is being certified for certain things that used to formally be done by officers. So that person is getting a new title because they have more certifications than what other people that have been in that role have had. But there's going to be some change there. But the good news is that that person can do things that used to require police officers to do. So that's some process improvement and some savings over there also. So unfortunately, again, expanding the footprint of the department means more uniform costs, and uniforms are up from where they were, and everything's up from where it was. So, right. Yes.
Going back to the evidence description,
Mhm.
are there maintenance costs associated with that? What's the, like lifespan of the device?
I don't have that information, just,
I mean,
it's a basic, I mean, it sounded like an incinerator to just.
Oh, no, they're not doing it here, they're taking it up to Concord.
I know, but if we were
to take it out.
$5,000 for a unit here.
Oh, well, that's transportation cost,
No,
Payroll for,
payroll.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But
because,
this thing is only expected to last a year.
What?
We're not spending $5,000 a year on destroying evidence.
oh, no, this is a unit that should last several years. It's a basic type of incinerator, is what it's on.
Oh, she wants one here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I said she was gonna take, they were gonna take the
That's what
Concord
they're doing now.
box here.
No,
They're
no,
looking to
she
avoid-
wants to buy a unit for $5,000 to avoid having twice a year, having two officers go, because it's two officers at a few hours of overtime each to go up and wait.
Oh, I
and
guess I
return.
missed that. Yeah, so I'm
So-
going.
If it would be like a 5-year rating, expect lifespan would be over, the gizmo was over 5 years. And where's the benefit there?
Right. Yeah.
Now,
Valid
that's
question.
a,
We need to ask.
evidence isn't just paperwork,
Sure.
burning stuff, evidence.
Yeah,
They have
property.
cases of alcohol and things like that. So I can get rid of that evidence for you. No problem.
Yeah, and I mean, she's.
The paper, I can put through a shredder too.
And vaporize
Others like to burn.
and things like that. So,
Evidence is a major problem.
Oh, well, yeah, downstairs and it's like it's everywhere.
Well, they have so many regulations on the evidence. You can't,
How long you
you
can't.
can't store it in plastic bags, you can't, it has to be in paper bags, et cetera, et cetera. We store things and they store food, then now you've got mice and stuff like that, because you've stored the food, which is evidence, and it's a ridiculous problem, the evidence.
So everybody read the minutes?
Yes, if you would just add the letter T after Tina brought up some very good items, everything else
I have to note it.
you do. Well, thank you for sharing.
It was in a Word document, you could have changed it.
Didn't catch it the first go to, well, sorry, just now.
I thought Tina was just dropping T's all over. That's fine.
I thought that was my last name, Tina Bro.
I thought you were into brewing. It's Peter.
So, Tina, were you talking to folks here at town office about
I
their
am,
future
they
full
are,
returns?
they're not finished yet, so I
Okay.
think it's Wednesday of next week. I'm spending a good part of the day here with all the different departments.
Excellent, thank you. And you're wrangling a few things.
Pardon?
You're wrangling a few things.
Well, yeah, but the budgets weren't ready.
Okay.
You know, so I asked Mike Tuesday, he goes, no. So,
Any indicators of things that we are jumping?
I think next
around that
week.
should be yet?
yeah, I think next week. Yeah, I think he sat with Lori May yesterday. You like the first paragraph?
I prefer to I-K to patch on it, and I thought this was a really perfect.
These are the typical minutes.
Yeah, I was very, this, I know what the heck went on, maybe. And it didn't go too long either, so.
It's all good.
Huh?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of September 19th, 2024.
Second. Let Tina, because she got her teeth dropped earlier, please.
With that amendment, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Abstain.
Yes.
This is relevant and not relevant because it's from the outside. I know I asked last time, I had asked every time that we have a meeting like this, is there anything that's taking place up in Concord, not just veto day and all of that, that may be affecting remuneration coming to or not coming to town that has changed since our last meeting?
And how they have a problem with the gas tax and the paving and stuff with the state, so that might be a problem.
Oh, they've got a huge problem with the, DOT because they put off making payments.
What happens when we do that, personally?
They paid interest. They did interest-only payments.
Because I know
For 2
every
years.
time I mention Tams, I can actually see the blood rush to the back of his neck. Do we have any idea as to worst case scenario, how that would affect what amount we may be able to plug into the budget? Yes. Or how much less we can plug in as we're doing it? Or expected revenue? Is everybody-
Because usually the state is always unanticipated revenue. The unanticipated revenue typically goes towards, when we find out what it is, it goes towards paving, so not particularly to the budget.
But whereas paving is near and dear to some of our hearts.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Well, if you find out.
My
something
neighborhood
else
was
on that.
taken care of in excellent order this summer, so we'll put that out there, so. I don't need to be on the list for the paving again for another 20.
And it was evident with the town as well as state projects that they really did try to do them in an expedient manner and not, okay, well, we did this, now we know that annoys you, we'll give you 1 week and then we'll do the next mile to put you back into it. It was really good to see, not just here in Ridge, but in the area, some, what seemed like well thought out planning, maybe with the exception of the job going on right now in front of the building. But they did pave there today.
That
The
road,
side
that road
roads,
was
but
really, yeah.
It was, well, it seems to get a lot of abuse right around 7 AM.
This is where you realize the difference in paving between the towns. The road was left unpaved for half a week anyway.
And
But I took the detour that today, and went past Millport to take the detour back to
10-mile detour.
at least a 10-mile detour to get back, because Cathedral Road was closed, so I didn't want to turn around, and go through the stop traffic again to get to Jeffrey Center. And when I went from New Hampshire to Massachusetts, it became self-evident we were not in Kansas anymore. As soon as we crossed the line, you could tell.
To follow up on another item from our last meeting, we had talked about getting salaries in the budgets sooner rather than later. So I know the COLA number was just released at a whopping 2.5%. So,
The discussion last time, as I recall, was about having not to exceed number plugged in, so at least you know what neighborhood we're in.
I think they're doing the 2.5 came out before it was calculated,
I
so.
don't know if they're calculated. I did bring all the things that the BAC wished for the selectmen to hear, in that they wanted a consistent budget format. I read the recommendations from all of the departments, so the same format from every department. All step raises, any projected COLA increase included with a not to exceed number in the budget. And get the budget meeting scheduled to the BAC. Well, I put that request through, so now you've got 2 budget schedules.
Yep.
So you get twice as much as you asked for.
I see here, according to what
I don't have
said
any,
today, it says that on October 23rd, budget proposals available for distribution to BLS and BAC, which puts it well over in a week, if not more, getting to the first joint session of the 6th. So should have something like that.
If they are out.
Yeah, I'm going by the copy that was sent at 4 or 5 days, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping they had some insight that that date wouldn't slip.
That's the day that I'm meeting with all the town departments.
It's like.
You will be very popular. But seriously, you know,
Yes,
it benefits them.
yes,
I know it's
Oh,
hard,
yes.
but it benefits them, okay, because if everybody's not like this when they walk in. And the numbers, we know numbers are gonna move. But there's moving and they don't touch the ground. There's no solidification to it. That does not help the town. It doesn't help our end. It doesn't help the selectmen. And just pushes the whole thing back, and then it feels like a cramped process.
the sooner that there's something in place, the sooner we finally can start. And that's really important, is to be able to at least have a starting point instead of bits and pieces coming in drips and drabs. It was difficult to try to get a sense of the overall picture.
Sorry, when you read that share,
Oh, I just looking at the schedule and my schedule.
Oh, okay. I heard the no exasperation.
No, it's a grind.
Okay.
when you read your page of notes for the Board of Selectmen and the other folks who were there, it's fine with me if you use the term Dan was ranting at the end of the table. I'm okay with that.
well,
Won't be the first time I've been accused of ranting here. Probably won't be.
I thought that was taken for granted.
It really
And
is.
didn't need to be. So,
I didn't add your name, and I also mentioned that in the initial budget, all those things stayed with. I believe
I still think it's the narrative.
that was your rant.
That was,
Okay.
that was a very, very good synopsis.
Okay, I'd like to take a look at what we've got for proposed budget schedule and try to propose when we think we should have our next meetings and see what we can get scheduled so that we start putting on the calendar. We know that in the past, what we've done is we've had an individual meeting after the second joint meeting and then one after the third joint meeting. So there were 3 joint meetings and then we had 2 meetings on our own. So
So you usually do it on the Thursdays, right after.
yes, Thursday still works best for myself and some of the other folks that are here as far as.
So November 21st.
If everybody is gonna meet with the department heads, on this committee before, in the next 10 days or 12 days, we should have a meeting before the first joint meeting so that we go over what we have learned from the department heads. There's no reason for us to meet with them individually if we're not going to relay it to the rest of the committee. It's a waste of time.
No, I absolutely understand, but I'm just looking at the calendar and saying.
It's Halloween.
Yeah. How do people feel about the Friday the 1st? I'm amenable to that, if that works for other people. I know, Jim, you usually get challenges right around the change of the month.
It's not so much a change in the monthly, we're not changing the quarter, close. But I can try to make something happen. It's gonna be game time, Pacific, probably, 31st or 1st.
Well, there's no selectmen's meeting on the 30th.
That will work a lot better. 31st.
I'm amenable to that. Does that work for you, Dan?
I think I can make that work. I know I can make it work better than the first, so.
Okay.
And we've met very cozily downstairs before.
That's happened.
Well, there's also the planning office.
Yeah.
You still have a fee, right?
Yeah.
So wait a minute, 10:30. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Wednesday,
Before the joint session on November 6th.
correct.
Yeah.
That gives us a week to compare notes and see where we're at.
Yeah, because when we do the joint meeting, the BAC should have the knowledge that was gained. Bless you. Oh, it's gonna start.
So are we still meeting on the third Thursday as well? Or are those done now?
Well, the second and third Thursday, we were usually reviewing what took place in the discussions with the BOS as well. And sometimes the reason for having that second one, not only because the largest budgets are usually in the third package, was because if we had a longer discussion upon, after that, or we want to review based on something we heard during number 3, it allows us that opportunity.
I'm perfectly fine with meeting on,
So our next meeting is 10:30,
correct.
and then,
And then if we're gonna follow the cadence, it'll be the 14th and 21st. If that makes sense to people.
It does. Excuse me.
14th and what'd you say, 14th?
Would be the 14th and 21st,
21st.
2 consecutive Thursdays following the second and the third joint meetings. Using the schedule as it was delivered today. Anything that week.
I get company. It's like,
Oh, good for you. Yeah, most people prefer to have family plans and that's all. Well, it's scary.
yeah, well, I usually fly up west, but my brother's flying here. Nothing to do here. It's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Look at each other for 5 days.
Well, at least it's sparing you from having to come to meetings, so there's that.
That's,
Let's go through the schedule again. When you get scheduled for meetings, Wednesday, 10:30,
Yes,
yes.
7 o'clock.
30th October, then we have,
Thursday, 11/7.
No,
no,
No, the
no,
14th,
14th and 21st.
14 and 21. Correct.
and then would we meet one more time before to
After,
make recommendations to the BOS? Because they're finalizing the budget on December 18th.
Sure they are.
Yeah, well, I don't know how we do a recommendation. Sure.
I'm gonna suck in here.
Yeah, so how do we make recommendations if the budget hasn't been finalized? We don't know, we're not, that's really weird. I know that's what it says, but
But, okay, we've been putting the cart before the horse and then the horse in front of the cart for a long time with this. Yeah, well, here are our recommendations, but it's all precipitated by what we hear from the BOS 2 weeks from now, and we may have to review it.
well, but I'm just, it's really, the BOS and BAC joint sessions is to go over the budgets. And then we could make a recommendation on what we have as final numbers unless changes happen during those sessions.
Which is supposed to happen on December 4th. BAC present recommendations.
But we're not gonna have a budget to make recommendations on, we're only gonna have the consent during the sessions.
But I guess what I'm saying is between November 21st, when do we meet to say, we've reviewed all the department budgets, these are our recommendations to the board of selectmen.
And the 21st is the last
Right. So
meeting
we'll have to
before.
discuss that on the 21st and come out of that with recommendations to be presented on the 4th.
In addition to reviewing department head budget joint session.
Yeah,
So we have the 20th where we get the department head's budget.
Again, it should be a refinement of what we should be seeing next week.
You know, this is somewhat predicated on those budgets being close enough to be able to follow along from one to the other. And that we would have all of the budgets at the same time before opening night this year. Listen, I will die with a hopeful smile on my face, so I'm believing that's happening until the day they tell me it's not. But I'm not betting my last $5 on it.
So nothing is needed between November 21st and December 4th.
we're not meeting, but
Right.
November 21st, we have to come up with
Right.
our recommendations on the budget.
Right.
Assuming it's full.
And that may be on the body of the budget as presented, understanding that,
Changes may occur.
who knows, there may not even be whispers in the wind as to what some of the warrant articles may be. Not impossible, not even probable. This is a decent skeleton schedule, if the pieces that need to get to us come to us at or close to those dates. As soon as one of those dominoes falls out of place,
We've always been famously flexible.
we have. And also, to be fair, that's dependent upon the department heads getting their budgets to the people that they're working internally with, and the BOS, in a timely fashion. Not ranting yet. I may rev up the engine.
There's a problem, Dan, is that the budgets aren't in by the department heads that we used last year's salaries, last year's budgets, and that's what they get.
I would find that inconsistent.
Period. It's easy. Roberta said if they don't use the same format, all of them, then their budget is denied. Not a problem. If you can't follow orders, you don't get any money. No allowance this year, okay? Very easy.
It's my favorite thing on applicants, well, it's right, so it's like.
Exactly. If they can't fill out the application to apply for a job, that never went over well with us.
But we all remember them.
No, we don't, because they weren't hired.
It went into the file.
During
Can't follow
some
directions.
application, but they didn't get much review. I tell you.
Well, the police will have a new evidence destroyer.
Yeah.
So,
Is this evidence destroyer an incinerator?
That's how I interpreted it to be,
well,
because it's storing narcotics and other things that will be destroyed. So I believe it's a typo.
Just burn them and put them into the air. Everybody will be hanging out there.
I was just gonna say, I'm assuming there's some good air quality.
Oh, I'm just thinking about sparks.
Yeah,
No, seriously, because they're like an outside fireplace with a chimney.
I trust the chief will have a better answer when she visits us, but
It's like, no, it just occurred to me, because we have an incinerator in our backyard. Actually, I just looked at a house down in Massachusetts that had an incinerator in the middle of their backyard. Still. I looked at it and I went,
It used,
wow.
or is it
It
just-
apparently was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to hammer out before we adjourn?
I think we're as far as we can be until we get the next slab of data.
Yeah.
And making sure that it seriously do if you decide if you want to make the flip or something. I'm good. Whatever. Okay.
So on the 30th, that's when we're going to discuss, going over with the department. Is that correct?
Well, we did go.
And by then, we should actually have the budget proposals that are supposed to be available from the 23rd. So even if they're a couple of days beyond the 23rd, we should have them by the time of the 30th when we meet.
How do you feel about the budget, I mean, the expenditures, sorry.
From what, last month? This sheet, okay, nice. Well, really, exactly what was budgeted. Not over all the numbers precisely, yeah. Welfare is going to be easily over by $15,000-$20,000.
Right, well, as I said, it was cut by 12,000, so,
Rent subsidies. Really tough.
yeah, letters should be going to the,
You know, we're actually, I'm looking at the total expenditures here, we're 76% and 75% of the year done, so we're on budget for expenditures.
yeah, the email she sent out said it was less than 75. And this is showing 72%. No, you're going to the bottom line, and that's not the budget, Bob, it's 72%. The bottom line
You still-
includes individual warrant articles and ARPA, and you can't, wasn't budgeted.
We're getting the 72%.
71.91 total budgeted expenditures.
So whether it's 72 or 76,
Makes a big
it's
difference.
running very close.
Yeah.
To target with not no cushion. Because let's face it, 2 bad storms in November and that cushion is,
Overspent.
so,
who manages the welfare budget?
Mary Turner,
Under.
and she's very good. She's very good. People find out she's doing it and they go, never mind.
and that is the most interesting budget if you follow it over a longer time. Years where you expect it to go down, it goes up, years you expect it to go up, and she'll come back and go, no, we didn't spend anything there. Through nothing but people giving great effort to it, I always feel that that's the one that's the biggest crapshoot.
She's also running for, doing the same thing in multiple towns.
Not anymore.
No, she's done the good stuff?
No, Marlboro, I think it's just Marlboro and us,
Okay,
but she's in touch with,
but I mean, it's
Yeah,
still,
she's in
it's
touch
still
with
more
all
than.
It's a very tight network, period.
She does an excellent job.
yeah, as I say, people know she's not easy street. But letters could go out to if it's saying property owners that they should do better screening because. Yeah, it's the reason people.
Anything else before we adjourn? Fellas? Going. We're adjourned.
So,
Good night, everyone. Thank you all. Appreciate all of your efforts on this.
beautiful couple of days, everybody. Go out there.
It's like until next
Next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Thursday.
The last gap of,
Yeah.
make-believe Indian summer, right?
Well, this is not Indian summer because we haven't had a hard frost.